The moment you walked into that coffee shop, library, or through the doors of your workplace, something shifted. There was this person, younger than you, whose eyes seemed to light up in a way that caught you completely off guard. Maybe you noticed how they leaned in a little closer when you spoke, or how they found reasons to be wherever you happened to be. At first, you might have brushed it off as friendly admiration or professional respect. But deep down, you've sensed something more intense simmering beneath the surface. They're captivated by you in a way that goes beyond casual attraction. And you've probably wondered what it is about you that has them so completely mesmerized. Let me tell you something that might surprise you. This isn't random, and it's not just about physical appearance or some fleeting infatuation. When someone younger develops deep feelings for someone older, there are specific qualities at play that create an almost magnetic pull. These aren't superficial traits that fade with time. They're fundamental aspects of who you are that have been shaped by your experiences, your growth, and the wisdom you've accumulated over the years. Understanding these reasons isn't about feeding your ego. It's about recognizing the genuine value you bring to any relationship and why age differences sometimes create the most profound connections. The first reason they're so drawn to you is your emotional stability and the groundedness you bring to every interaction. Think about this for a moment. You've lived through heartbreaks that tested your resilience. You've navigated career setbacks that could have broken your spirit. You've weathered storms that would have completely overwhelmed the person you were a decade ago. All of those experiences have forged something within you that's incredibly rare and deeply attractive. The ability to remain calm when chaos erupts around you. When they're spiraling about a problem that feels insurmountable, you don't add fuel to the fire with panic or dramatics. Instead, you listen with the kind of presence that makes them feel truly heard, perhaps for the first time in their life. You offer perspective that comes from having stood where they're standing and having made it through to the other side. You don't dismiss their feelings, but you also don't let them drown in emotional overwhelm. This balance is something they've probably never encountered before, especially not from people in their own age group who might still be figuring out how to regulate their own emotional responses. Your younger admirer has likely spent years surrounded by people who swing wildly between extremes, relationships that ignite like fireworks and burn out just as quickly, friendships that dissolve over misunderstandings that could have been resolved with a simple conversation, environments where drama is the norm rather than the exception. Then you appeared in their world like a breath of fresh air, demonstrating that it's possible to feel deeply without being controlled by those feelings, to care intensely without losing yourself in the process, to navigate conflict without turning every disagreement into a battlefield. When they're with you, they feel safe in a way they've never experienced before. Not safe in a boring or predictable sense, but safe to be vulnerable. Safe to express doubts without judgment. Safe to show the parts of themselves they usually hide from the world. You've created this sanctuary through nothing more than your consistent, grounded presence. And that's intoxicating to someone who spent their life riding emotional roller coasters. The second reason pulls them toward you with such intensity is your clarity about who you are and what you want from life. You're not performing some elaborate charade, trying to be someone you think the world wants you to be. The years have stripped away the desperate need to impress everyone, the exhausting effort to mold yourself into someone more palatable, more acceptable, more anything other than authentically you. You've done the hard work of self-discovery, faced your shadows, acknowledged your flaws, and emerged with a sense of self that remains unshaken by external opinions. This self-assuredness manifests in ways both large and small. You order what you actually want at restaurants instead of what you think you should want. You pursue hobbies and interests that genuinely light you up, rather than activities chosen to project a certain image. You set boundaries without guilt or endless explanation because you understand that protecting your energy isn't selfish, it's essential. You know your values and you live by them, even when it would be easier or more convenient to compromise. For your younger admirer, this is revolutionary. They've likely spent years lost in the wilderness of identity formation, trying on different personas like costumes, seeking validation from social media metrics, peer approval, romantic partners, anyone who might tell them who they should be. They've watched people their own age claim to know themselves while clearly floundering, declaring passionate beliefs one month and completely contradicting them the next, building entire identities around trends that will be forgotten by next season. Then there's you, standing firm in who you are with a quiet confidence that needs no announcement. You don't need to constantly prove yourself or seek affirmation because you've already done the internal work of self-acceptance. You admit when you don't know something instead of pretending to have all the answers. You acknowledge mistakes and learn from them rather than defending them to the death. You change your mind when presented with new information instead of clinging rigidly to outdated beliefs just to appear consistent. This authenticity is magnetic because it gives them permission to embark on their own journey of self-discovery without the pressure to have it all figured out right now. In your presence, they catch glimpses of who they might become if they stop performing and start living. You're not trying to mold them into anything. You accept them as they are while inspiring them to grow into their fullest expression. That combination of acceptance and inspiration creates a connection that feels both comforting and exhilarating. The third reason they can't stop thinking about you is the depth and richness of your life experience. You've accumulated stories that can't be learned from books or downloaded from the internet. You've traveled to places they've only seen in photographs. You've navigated complex situations that have taught you lessons no classroom could provide. You've developed skills and knowledge through years of dedicated practice and genuine curiosity about the world. Your conversations offer perspectives that challenge their assumptions and expand their understanding of what's possible. When you talk about your past, you're not bragging or dwelling in nostalgia. You're sharing wisdom earned through lived experience. You can discuss historical events not as abstract facts, but as moments you witnessed or were affected by directly. You understand industry changes and cultural shifts because you've observed them unfold over decades. You've seen trends come full circle, watched technologies transform society, witnessed movements rise and fall and rise again. But here's what makes this truly captivating for them. You share these experiences in ways that illuminate the present and future, rather than just glorifying the past. You draw connections between what was and what is, helping them understand current situations through the lens of historical context. You don't say things were better in your day. You recognize both the progress that's been made and the challenges that persist. You blend the wisdom of experience with genuine openness to new ideas and changing perspectives. Your younger admirer is hungry for this kind of depth. They've grown up in an era of information overload where everyone has opinions, but few have genuine insight. They can find surface-level information about anything with a quick internet search. But they can't download the nuanced understanding that comes from actually living through experiences, making mistakes, learning lessons, and integrating that knowledge over time. You offer something their peers simply cannot: perspective that's been refined through years of reflection and growth. Moreover, you've likely developed competencies that took years to build. Maybe you're an incredible cook who understands not just recipes, but the underlying principles of flavor and technique. Perhaps you've mastered a craft or profession through thousands of hours of dedicated practice. You might have developed emotional intelligence, that allows you to read situations and people with uncanny accuracy. Whatever your particular areas of expertise, they represent investments of time and energy that create genuine mastery. And there's something deeply attractive about watching someone operate with that level of skill and understanding. The fourth, and perhaps most powerful reason they're falling for you, is your independence and the completeness of your life. You're not a half person desperately seeking another half to make you whole. You've built a life that satisfies you, relationships that nourish you, pursuits that excite you, routines that ground you. You have your own friends, your own interests, your own goals, your own identity that exists completely independently of any romantic relationship. You don't need someone to complete you because you're already complete on your own. This might seem counterintuitive. Shouldn't need and dependency create attraction? Actually, the opposite is true. Your self-sufficiency is incredibly appealing because it means any relationship you choose to build comes from genuine desire rather than desperate necessity. You're not looking for someone to rescue you from loneliness, to validate your existence, to give your life meaning, or to fill a gaping void in your soul. You're open to connection, but you're not dependent on it for your happiness or sense of self-worth. When you spend time with them, it's because you genuinely want to, not because you have nothing else to do or no one else to be with. When you choose to prioritize them, that choice carries weight because they know you have other options, other commitments, other people and activities competing for your attention. Your time is valuable, and when you offer it to them, they feel truly valued in return. This creates a dynamic where they're inspired to bring their best self to the relationship, rather than taking you for granted or assuming you'll always be available no matter how they behave. Your independence also means you don't play games or engage in manipulative tactics designed to create artificial scarcity or manufactured jealousy. You communicate directly about your needs and expectations. You're honest about your feelings without being controlled by them. You don't need to create drama to feel alive or test their devotion with elaborate scenarios. This straightforward approach is refreshing for someone who's probably exhausted by the endless games and mixed signals that characterize many relationships among their peers. Furthermore, you model what a healthy, balanced life looks like. They see you maintaining friendships that predate any romantic involvement. They watch you pursue passions and hobbies with dedication and joy. They observe how you handle responsibilities without losing sight of what matters most. You demonstrate that it's possible to love someone deeply while still maintaining your own identity, to be in a relationship without disappearing into it, to prioritize a partner without abandoning yourself. This is a revelation for someone who's witnessed or experienced relationships where people lose themselves completely, sacrificing their dreams, friendships, and individuality on the altar of romantic love. All four of these qualities work together to create an attraction that's profound and multifaceted. Your emotional stability provides the foundation of safety and trust. Your self-knowledge offers inspiration and permission to be authentic. Your life experience brings depth and perspective that enriches every interaction. Your independence creates a dynamic of choice rather than need, desire rather than desperation. Together, these elements form something far more powerful than simple physical attraction or fleeting infatuation. They create the conditions for genuine admiration, respect, and love. So if you've been wondering why this younger person can't seem to get you out of their head, why their eyes follow you across rooms, why they seek your advice and presence and attention with such obvious intensity, now you understand. It's not about age itself, and it's about everything that age has allowed you to become. Every experience you've lived through, every lesson you've learned, every moment of growth and self-discovery has contributed to making you who you are today. Someone worth falling for, regardless of how many years separate you. And that's something truly worth recognizing and celebrating.